Y'all come on in, come on in, come on in. We got some good stuff to cover today. Yes, we do. With that being said, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Kicking it with your girl, y'all. We finna get into the video. I'm not even finna hold y'all up. Now, look here. They told y'all that Trump was finished. They called him a joke. They say he was going to prison, all of the above. But when CNN, which we know, y'all, fake news, sits here and talks 6 minutes straight of giving Trump praise, you know that he's doing something right. When your haters can sit 6 minutes and say, hey, this man is really, on the road, y'all know hell and rolled over, because when do CNN really say something positive about Trump? Well, with that being said, y'all, this the daily news. Queen B's daily news, where we drag out them lies. So let's go ahead and dive into the first video. Let's go. And this is definitely coming straight from Robbie Starbuck on X, y'all. Let's dive into the video. Let's go.
The mission was carried out with stealth and with precision. There were no American casualties. And while Congress is divided after receiving briefings on the extent of the damage, I'm sure that we've derailed Iran's nuclear program, at least temporarily. And there's some valuable deterrent effect for America's adversaries who witnessed last week's exercise. Then, last Tuesday, President Trump left the White House en route to Europe. At the time, there was a question as to whether Israel and Iran would honor a ceasefire. That caused the president to offer the most unfiltered, non-controversial, direct words that I can recall anybody ever saying about the Middle East.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Cut to The Hague, where he arrived for NATO meetings and was able to wrangle an agreement from our allies to more than double their defense spending target from 2% of gross domestic product to 5% by 2035. Also, while at NATO, in a press availability, he did something rare for Trump and I found rewarding. He showed empathy. It came in an exchange with a Ukrainian journalist who said that her husband was a soldier. She asked whether the U.S. would supply her country with Patriot missiles.
Are you living yourself now in Ukraine?
My husband is there.
Wow.
And
I can see you it's amazing.
And me with the kids, I'm in Warsaw actually, because he wanted me to be.
Is your husband a soldier? No?
He's
there now. They do want to have the anti-missile missiles, okay, as they call them, the Patriots. And we're going to see if we can make some available. I wish you a lot of luck. I mean, I can see it's very upsetting to you. So say hello to your husband, okay?
Also in that presser, he was more reflective and respectful than usual of our allies.
They want to protect their country, and they need the United States. And without the United States, it's not going to be the same. And I left here differently. I left here saying that these people really love their countries. It's not a ripoff, and we're here to help them protect their country.
Back at home, Trump claimed that he's reached a trade deal with China and soon expects the same with India.
Come on.
Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick told Bloomberg that the deal was signed earlier this week. China's Commerce Ministry said Friday the two sides had further confirmed the details of the framework. Of course, Trump's initial imposition of tariffs wreaked havoc on American markets back in the spring. But now the markets have rebounded and grown. The S&P 500, NASDAQ hit record highs just yesterday. And it's not just the stock market. Inflation, the great economic fear of recent times, seems to be tamed. The rate is now reported at 2.4%, down from a high of 7% just 4 years ago. Meanwhile, blue-collar...
Now, y'all know, if CNN has entered and goes from calling Trump a dictator to actually saying this man is on fire, y'all, they know what's up. They really don't. Their views have been dropping left to right. Left to right. Do y'all hear me? But when you got this, y'all see this man going on and on about the goodness of our president. We knew this. Okay, y'all need to catch up. Let's get into it.
Workers have seen real wage growth of 1.7% in Trump's first 5 months. This is the largest such increase in nearly 3 generations. Notwithstanding its impact on our national debt, there's also hope among some that Trump's big, beautiful bill will give further financial relief to blue-collar workers, as well as create incentives to build more factories in the U.S. Some already see this happening. For instance, General Electric has just announced that it'll invest almost $500 million in moving production of washing machines from China to Kentucky. And then there's the border. Crossings have slowed to a trickle. According to CBP's May update, southwest border encounters have fallen to about 282 a day, a drop of 93% from last year and the lowest since the early 1960s.
Come on,
Perhaps the loudest
Trump.
cheering for those border numbers is coming from America's Latino community, which might initially sound counterintuitive. On Thursday, Pew Research released an enormous data analysis of the 2024 election, which contains several surprises. High on that list, President Trump won a bigger percentage of the Latino vote than previously believed. Hillary Clinton had a 38% lead over Trump among Hispanics in 2016. Joe Biden beat Trump in this demo by 25 percentage points. Kamala Harris's margin among these same voters over Trump, just 3 points. Even more surprising, perhaps, Pew Research concludes that if everyone had voted in 2024, contrary to the widely held belief that higher turnout helps Democrats, Trump would still have won.
Come on.
The data show 44% of non-voters said that they would have gone for Trump compared to 40% of non-voters who would have gone for Harris. So if more had voted, his margin would have grown. Yesterday came a huge decision from the Supreme Court. The High Court declared that federal district judges exceeded their authority when issuing nationwide injunctions against Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. This will, of course, strengthen executive power both for Trump and for his successors.
Woo!
And finally, a Democratic socialist just won the nomination for mayor of New York City. And perhaps you're wondering, well, how does that affect Trump? It gives him the perfect foil, someone to play off in future political battles.
Boo.
This morning's New York Post references campaign literature for Zohran Mamdani, which advocates for increased taxation for, quote, richer and whiter neighborhoods. Just imagine what Trump will do with that. Winning became a punchline that Trump's opponents
It's been a
used to
punchline,
lampoon
baby.
him in
It's
his
been
first
one.
administration. He was a political novice then, surrounded by a team with which he was unfamiliar, and he was probably as surprised as the rest of us were that he won the election. This time is different. This time he came with a plan and a cabinet with senior advisors comprised of loyalists all well known to the president. And recently, he's exhibited a more layered approach to governing on both the domestic and international front, no longer solely guided by winning each day's news cycle. By any objective measure, President Trump has his opponents on the run.
As he should. Stop playing with our president. Just stop playing with him, y'all. Now, we're going to get into this next one. As y'all know, under Biden, over 500,000 Haitians granted temporary protected status, y'all. Under Biden. A lot of stuff took place under Biden and his administration. Just know that, okay? We're going to get where it started from. All right? And it definitely started from his administration and not Trump. Trump has to come in. Can't even put his agenda first because he had to go straight in cleaning up that mess. And we know it was a mess because we lived through it. With that being said, y'all, let's roll into the next one. Okay? All right, let's bring the receipts. We're going to roll into the next one. With that being said, coming straight from Chicago, one Ray on X, y'all. Another win. The Supreme Court just ruled that Trump can deport 500 Haitians that were granted temporary protected status under Biden. Bringing the receipts. Let's get into it.
So-called temporary protected status for hundreds of Venezuelans. While the legal battle goes back to a lower court, this is separate from the fight over deporting accused gang members under the Alien Enemies Act, which is on a different track. It is about a program that prevents deportations to countries dealing with natural disasters or civil unrest. With that, we bring in Jonathan Turley, constitutional attorney and Fox News contributor. Jonathan, great to have you with us to sort this out. Give us a sense of what happened at the court today and what it means.
Well, this is a considerable win for the Trump administration. We're talking about not a small number of people, talking about over 500,000 people. And what was curious is that the federal law itself says that you can use this special parole provision on a case-by-case basis. That is not what the Biden administration did. But once these people were in the country, the Trump administration sought to end that status. After all, it's called temporary. And the court said, no, now you've got to do case-by-case determinations, which, of course, would take a very long time. For the administration, this is a huge issue because if these individuals stay past 2 years, other protections kick in. They become as difficult to deport as all the other millions that were allowed into the country that are going through the slow immigration process. So it's a considerable win.
Now, with that being said, y'all, because we know under Biden's policy, it's now been reversed. Okay? Another America First promise delivered by our truly President Trump. Let's get this thing going, y'all. We got too many wins going on, and I'm loving every bit of it. With that being said, y'all, another win. Do they ever just wake up and say, damn, we done lost again? They wake up like, oh, man, we're going to think of how we can once again try to take over the world from the number one guy we all voted for in office. Like, y'all, it's got to be a point where they just got to get tired. Like, someone, one of them has to just be tired of just recycling. It's just going in the same circle. Like, nothing's changing for them. Let's get into the other win, y'all. Because a blink of an eye, Trump was just like, boom, 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 boom. You got to keep up with this man. That's the thing, y'all. We had to keep up with his pen action when he was signing these executive orders, left to right, right to left. Now you have to keep up with what this man is doing every single day because it's always something. This man does not sleep. I need his type of routine, baby, because if I did, I'd be even more successful than what I am right now today. If I had Trump's routine, no sleep game, shit. All right, with that being said, y'all, let's get into this next win. Let's go. Coming straight from Gunther, Eagle Man on X. Let's get it.
It is effectively yes.
Yes, that's a distinct possibility because if a state isn't allowed to obtain a nationwide injunction, then what the Supreme Court has said is every individual plaintiff, they can only get relief as to themselves individually and their children. So that means an individual, a U.S. citizen baby whose parents haven't obtained a lawyer, that the executive branch could deny them citizenship simply because they were not able to file a case to challenge the order as to them. That is just, I think, an appalling result given how difficult and expensive it is to obtain lawyers. And again, we're talking about a very vulnerable population here, you know, individuals whose parents might be undocumented, who might be here without legal status, and you are requiring all of them to obtain lawyers to ensure their children are able to have their constitutional right of birthright citizenship.
Lisa, I know you want to weigh in too.
Yeah, I think a couple of things, Anna. One is,
okay, so we putting the law back into the order. Now you got fair chance to get your ish right, okay? This is the F around and find out era. Y'all can't run these games on Trump. Y'all can run them on any other president y'all want. But what you're not finna do is try to run game on Trump and his administration because they are ahead of the game for every step that y'all bimbos try to take. Okay? Just know that. All right, y'all. Which has me going into the very last video of the day. Now, one thing I got to say about my boy Scott Jennings, y'all, is he knows how to get these folks up out character. He knows how to get up under their skin and ruffle them feathers. And that's what I love about it, because call they bluff. Call them out. You get what I'm saying? Call these bimbos out left to right. And who other than the best, Scott, knows what he's doing. So I want to know y'all thoughts. What are y'all thinking about these wins? Do y'all think that they're good? You know what I'm saying? Did you guys vote for it? Because I damn sure did. But I want to know y'all thoughts. I want to know y'all thoughts on it. Y'all know me. Let's drop it in the comment section. Let's be respectful to one another. That's all I ask. You know what I'm saying? We can get our opinions across to each other. Just be respectful. With that being said, y'all, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let's go ahead and get into Scott getting into this tale, coming straight from Eric Daughtry on X, y'all. If y'all want to follow this guy, let's dive into the video. Let's go.
Jobs not done. A foreign minister from Rwanda told CNN, he said he's committed to supporting this ongoing negotiation, but warned that ending the conflict will depend on political will and the good faith. And he doesn't know if that is true, referring.
I like Scott, though. If y'all notice, Scott is in that mode where he's actually listening and he's paying attention. He's not listening to actually talk like they do. He's actually listening because this man knows his research. He know what the hell is going on. So just pay attention, because it's always that killer mode right here that he do as he listens to these bimbos, and then he fires at them. Check it out.
To the DRC's government.
It's
not done. It's not done.
You didn't watch. You didn't watch the news yesterday. They literally announced
obviously.
it in the Oval Office.
Obviously.
Mr. President, this is indeed a historical day because it's the signing of a peace agreement between Congo and Rwanda to end a conflict that has been going on for 30 years.
Let me ask you a question.
Literally in the Oval Office. Friday afternoon.
You said something earlier. You said, and you kind of agree with Pete, when he says there's something about the media where they feel like they want to disprove Donald Trump. Is that what you said? Something to that effect?
It happens every day.
Yep. And you think that's what they want to do, right?
Hell yeah.
He's going in to say he's lying and he's not telling the truth.
I believe that is the standing disposition.
Do you believe that he tells the truth?
Yeah, I do.
Every time.
You think
all presidents?
You think the president tells the truth? This current president tells the truth often.
Our President Trump.
Okay. I also think that, to our point that we haven't established, he does announce things before it's too soon.
They literally had the countries in there.
The program isn't.
I feel like you should watch the news before you come out here.
Watch the news.
You should stop trying to defend him just to defend him.
You should
I think you should stop